December has a more gentle energy compared to November, which was full of squares to Saturn and oppositions to Uranus, and overall felt quite shaky. This month, the Sun, Mercury, and Venus make softer, supportive aspects to the Lord of Karma. Mercury, however, stations retrograde on December 13th, asking us to stop, slow down, and spend the final weeks of the year rethinking, rewriting, and redoing some of the work we have previously done. Let's take a closer look at the month and break down some of the most important transits for all 12 signs. My name is Anastasia. I'm a traditional Western astrologer specializing in natal, relationship, and predictive readings. If you like my work, please support me by leaving a like or a comment, subscribing, and pressing the notification bell. All of that helps bring more attention and more subscribers to my page, so thank you so much for that. You also have the option of showing your appreciation and saying thank you by buying me a coffee. Thank you to everyone who has been taking advantage of that super thanks option. Before we dive in talking about the last month of the year, I wanted to let you know that there's a couple of ways of working with me. You can find links down below. You can find my reading options on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. I am currently offering a discounted year ahead readings. If you'd like to talk to me face to face, you can get $20 off. If you'd like to get a recorded reading, you can get $40 off the regular price, and you will find that in the shop section of my website. Links down below. Additionally, in the shop section of my website, you can find all of my creations, and that includes the 2024 planner, 225 pages filled with important insights, planetary guides, transits, lunar information, journaling prompts, and so much more. And my candles. I have created 2 new batches of candles in November, and that includes another Venus in Libra and my first ever Mars creation, Mars in Scorpio. So let's talk about December. Forgive the construction noises. I live in New York City, so if you're sitting and waiting for the construction to stop, I'll never get any work done. Just in general, we start December with Venus in Libra. She spends most of the month in Scorpio. The Sun is traveling through Sagittarius. Mars is in Sagittarius all month. Mercury goes into Capricorn from December 1st until December 23rd, and then retrogrades on the 13th, returning to Sagittarius. And a couple of other exciting transits this month, and I will go through them one by one chronologically before I break them down for all 12 signs. So 2 of the more exciting ones, 2 kind of good transits to mention at the front of the video are Jupiter going direct, which is especially important for all of the strongly Jupiter-ruled, strong Jupiterian people out there, which is Sagittarius and Pisces placements. And Neptune also goes direct. So Jupiter goes direct, Neptune goes direct. And just to preface the astrology of this month, like I said in the introduction, this feels like a more constructive month. We always have difficult aspects. There's going to be some squares to Neptune and some confusion that we're still going through and dealing with. Mercury is slowing down, right? So it's not the most productive month necessarily, perhaps in the beginning more so, but there's still a lot of supportive energy. November was just messy in a lot of ways, right? There was like so many oppositions, so many squares to Saturn, a lot of stop and start energy. Please share in the comments below, how was November for you? Did you feel like it was your month? Did you take the destiny by its horns and accomplished a lot? I put my planner on sale in the last couple of days of October, so I guess I avoided putting it out in November, but November has been pretty busy for me in terms of creating candles and filming content and putting my products out there. So it's been busy, but I felt that frustrating energy for sure. Okay, let's talk about December step by step. On December 1st, Mercury enters Capricorn. Immediately, Mercury will make a harmonious sextile to Saturn. So between 1st and 2nd, you have this very, Saturn rules Capricorn, right? So Mercury enters the sign of Saturn and immediately makes a harmonious aspect to Saturn. So December 1st, December 2nd is lovely for getting hard work done. If you have any paperwork you need to submit, if you have any documents you need to review, anything that is requiring you to sit down, put your nose to the book, to the paper, catch up on paperwork, do some kind of heavy negotiating, that is lovely on December 1st, 2nd. We do have that sextile come back around on December 21st, but Mercury will already be retrograde. So keep in mind that the work that you're doing right now is likely to have more to it, and you will see that on December 21st and then potentially on January 18th when Mercury sextiles Saturn after stationing direct. Mercury stays in Capricorn between December 1st, December 23rd. We can benefit from a rational, practical, grounded thinking. We're not likely to be people who just say things without it having weight behind it. We're not just going to be throwing words in the air, and it's very kind of, you know, your words matter, your words have weight. So if you're promising something, you better deliver energy. And we get Mercury direct for the first 12-13 days. On the 13th, it stations retrograde. And honestly, Mercury retrograde at this point should just be like a very fun time for all of us, and there should be no fear because it just happens so often, and we've been through, every single one of us has been through so many Mercury retrogrades, right? Where basically I can teach a lecture on it. So don't be scared of that. December 3rd, we have a rough transit. We have Venus squaring Pluto. And this is interesting because it can bring back some of the early October energy. On October 8th, we had Mars square Pluto, and you may have dealt with some frustrations, power struggles, control issues. So Venus squaring Pluto on December 3rd can bring that back and potentially offer a chance to solve the problem, right? Like Mars and Pluto is the soldier versus the lord of the underworld. Venus and Pluto is the diplomatic queen versus the lord of the underworld. So even though it's a square and it can in the immediate create darker feelings, it can bring up obsession, jealousy, sort of paranoia on some level. It can also offer a chance to transform, transcend, and heal a part of you. But you may have to face the darkness. You cannot just, if you try to push these feelings away, not address them, pretend like everything is fine, it's not going to be easy. Shortly after that, we face our shadows. Venus goes into Scorpio and spends most of the month in Scorpio, starting December 4th until December 29th. Here, Venus is in her detriment, so she is very passionate and very intense. It's very much all or nothing energy. The detriment and the weakness of Venus here shows up in that fear of trusting, in the obsessive tendencies, and perhaps fear of losing control, right? If you have Venus in Scorpio, please share down below how it manifests for you. But if you know anyone with this placement, they're very, very deep, very loving, very loyal people. But a lot of times they may be also self-protective because they've been through losses and they know what it's like to love and lose. And so they may be hesitant to show their true selves to other people. So we get this by transit between December 4th and 29th. And on the positive, we're likely to experience a lot of passion, intimacy, closeness, raw connection in our relationships. On the negatives, there's a danger of being too obsessive, controlling, fearful, right? So beware of that. On December 5th, so between 4th, 5th, 6th, Venus trines Saturn. This is harmonious for making moves in relationships, choosing commitment in relationships, building connection, moving relationships forward, taking action on your creative projects where you're not afraid to dedicating time and passion and energy. You're not afraid to commit to something. And if you are starting new relationships at this time, you may find yourself being more attracted to people who are older than you or who are somehow mature. On December 6th, Neptune stations direct. December is full of transits. There's so much going on. So Neptune stations direct on December 6th. And I can see this being potentially the most important for mutable signs, and that is Virgo, Pisces, Gemini, Sagittarius. But for all of us where Pisces is in our charts, we're likely to experience more clarity. Because Neptune being retrograde creates a lot of this like inner need to sort facts from fiction, to figure out what's a tangible, realistic dream versus what is an illusion. So Neptune going direct, we're likely feeling ready to let go of pipe dreams and take action to pursue dreams that are more realistic. December 7th, Mercury trines Jupiter. This is lucky and beautiful, and actually repeats again on December 18th because Mercury goes retrograde, makes an aspect to Jupiter again. So December 7th, December 18th, similar vibe. Mercury and Jupiter together are like the scientist and the wise sage. You're putting together your analytical mind with your more spiritual side of yourself, and this could be lucky for expanding your intellectual pursuits, for studying, for traveling, for presenting your ideas. There is possibility of receiving good news, a lovely period. Always give it a couple of days before, a couple of days after. A lovely time to reach out to people and ask them for help, network, do research, go on trips. December 7th, December 18th, even though we will be in the retrograde, it would have started right on December 18th. It's still good to you may feel December 18th or a day before, a day after to be easier. December 9th, Venus opposes Jupiter. And this is any aspect to Jupiter, even if it's harsh, it's still cheerful and jolly and fun. But this is a very classical, you can have too much fun type energy. So be careful overspending, overindulging, overextending yourself on the positive. There may be some fun opportunities, perhaps opportunities that require you to work and you feel less excited about that, or some opportunities that require you to compromise. Venus opposite Jupiter is at times the energy of your desires do not quite align with the spiritual values. You want a pay raise, but you desire a foreign travel job, or you desire to move. So you get one and you have to weigh it together, right? And sort of figure out what's more important, your immediate satisfaction or the long-term satisfaction. It might also be really hard to focus around this time, but watch out for giving up too quickly and just sort of, it's too abundant energy. So it might be really easy to be like, yeah, no, I don't want to spend time doing this. This is boring. I'd rather go and have some fun. December 11th, we have a transit that supports beautiful, charming speech. It's Mercury sextile Venus. Opportunities to make amends, negotiate, connect, tell people how you feel, get some compliments, or share the love with other people. December 12th, we have a new moon at 20 degrees Sagittarius. It's making a number of aspects to Mars and Neptune, and there's even a trine to North Node. So ruled by Jupiter, right? Jupiter at the time is in a trine to Mercury in Capricorn. So it feels adventurous, it feels restless and energetic with Mars and North Node. There might be new beginnings and new projects we're starting that are connecting us with our ideals, where we are pursuing high dreams and wishes, and we're growing somehow. Jupiter is very growth oriented, but expect to see new beginnings in the Sagittarius sector of your chart. What's interesting here is this new moon happens right as Mercury is stationing to retrograde, right? So Mercury goes retrograde on December 13th, and until January 1st. So from December 13th for the rest of December, Mercury is retrograde. And we're getting this new moon, right, as Mercury is stationing retrograde. So to me, this suggests that something in your life is beginning, but it may require you to go back and make some adjustments or retool your beliefs. The Mercury retrograde is interesting because it starts on the 13th, and at first Mercury is in Capricorn, and then on the 23rd, Mercury leaves Capricorn and returns to Sagittarius. And we're moving from 8 degrees Capricorn to 22 degrees Sagittarius. So if you have placements in those degrees, expect to feel this retrograde especially strongly, and to some extent also those degrees of cardinal and mutable signs, which is every sign but Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. But specifically, early first 8 degrees of Capricorn, Cancer, Libra, and Aries, and then the last 10 degrees of mutable, Sag, Gemini, Pisces, and Virgo. So the new moon, Mercury retrograding, Mercury going from Capricorn into Sagittarius. It's interesting because like Mercury being in Capricorn is all about building. It's all about committing to something and working hard. And so Mercury was direct, and perhaps you've got some ideas, you've got some clarity about your legacy or about your next project. And then Mercury stations retrograde, and you realize that in order to build this solid structure, you need to go back to your guiding principles and clarify something. So once again, with that example of like you get offered a job and you take it and you start working on the project, and then the retrograde begins, and perhaps there's glitches in the project, or perhaps you see things for what they are, and you see the bureaucracy, and you see that doing this new job will require you to compromise your beliefs and your ideals. So then Mercury retrogrades into Sagittarius on December 23rd, and you are looking at your principles and your ideals and your inspiration behind it all. So, if you're building a house with Mercury in Capricorn, perhaps you don't need the giant pool, but instead you need some meditation space. That's my analogy for you. On December 16th, we have a low energy transit as the Sun squares Neptune. And the Sun is our ideals, the perfect image. And Neptune is dreams, but also illusions. So the Sun in a square to Neptune can gild your illusions, can sort of highlight your illusions and make you take these illusions too far, to a place where you get misled, disappointed, or misguided somehow. Don't join a cult at this time. But it could also be an opportunity to perhaps connect with the collective and maybe examine your dreams to see how valid they are, how realistic they are. So, and could also be like a great period for social work. We have a repeat of this energy, or quite a similar energy, on December 27th, 28th, as Mercury squares Neptune and Mars squares Neptune. So very, very much strong energy this month of looking at things realistically, at looking at your own limitations and asking yourself, how are you standing in your own way? How are you maybe blocking your progress and your own growth? And what's real versus what is not real, and how can you perhaps bring those two together and make progress without lying to yourself or to the rest of the world. December 18th, we talked about Mercury trine Jupiter, quite a lucky transit, good time for taking action. You feel more optimistic. It's still retrograde, so perhaps you are reviewing some of the work you've done, but you feel happy about it. December 21st brings a relationship test, or tests, brings relationship shakeups, as Venus in Scorpio opposes Uranus. So this could be the time of breakdowns in relationships if they are weaker, if they're already somehow struggling, and breakthroughs where you feel more connected to your partner, and perhaps you establish something new in your relationship. You find you experiment, you open your relationship, or you open your mind to something fun. So could be shaky, but could also be eye-opening. And the same applies for creative pursuits. Like if you are an artistic individual, this could be very supportive of you finding your unique taste, for example. The same day we have Mercury retrograde sextile Saturn. So even if you are dealing with some challenges, you have the patience and the focus of Saturn to get through it. On December 21st, the Sun enters Capricorn, starting Capricorn season, and then the Sun and Mercury come together on December 22nd in Kazimi. I told you this month is just full of action, right? So December 22nd is the turning point in the retrograde and could be the time when you get a download right as the next day Mercury enters Sagittarius. So then Mercury enters Sagittarius on December 23rd, stays here until January 13th, 2024. How crazy. We're like so close to 2024. And this is what I talked about with return to Sagittarius, where we're looking not at the work at hand, but instead what's the motivational force, what's the reason behind why we're doing what we're doing. December 24th, 25th, beautiful, right? As we get close to Christmas, we have Sun sextile Saturn on the 24th, which could be a sense of the work that you're doing is warming your heart. You are showing your wisdom. You're connecting with people who are wise. You're becoming a leader. Maybe you're leading your family. Maybe you're leading at work. Maybe you're just getting a sense of satisfaction of the job well done. December 25th, Christmas Day, Venus trines Neptune. Very easy, very relaxed. I love that we get this energy as Christmas rolls around, because Venus trine Neptune is just chill. Let's stay in bed, watch some movies, eat some tasty foods, and feel good. So plan some downtime around that time. December 26th, we get the full moon in Cancer. I quite like this full moon. It's the moon in her own sign at 4 degrees 57 minutes of Cancer. There's a sextile to Jupiter. There's a trine to Saturn in Pisces. So you are completing a chapter of emotional growth and you're feeling happy about it. And then, of course, December 27th, we have Mercury in Sagittarius square to Neptune. This is a repeat of late November, when we actually had a full moon in Gemini ruled by Mercury squaring Neptune. So potentially return of that. Maybe another round of looking. Mercury is retrograde here. So if the full moon brought important conversations, realizations, changes into your life, this is now your opportunity to review, rethink, rewrite, re-edit, right? All of the re things. The Sun trines Jupiter on the same day, which is lucky, optimistic, confident, great time for growth. Talking about growth, expanding your life, learning new things, traveling, and connecting with teachers and mentors. We also have Mercury conjoining Mars on December 27th, and that is full of energy type of transit. Mercury is fast, Mars is energetic, so you feel restless, you feel like desire to be active, you may feel a little bit combative. Overall, this feels exciting and like you may feel excited, optimistic, and ready for change, but just beware that Mercury is retrograde. It is squaring Neptune, so you may not have all the facts in front of you yet. December 28th feels low. Mars squares Neptune. This is always, we feel tired, our immune defenses may be compromised. Perhaps we're coming out of the holidays, right? Coming from Christmas. Maybe you've overexerted yourself, overdone things, didn't listen to Anastasia who told you to just chill in bed. So it's on you. But you know, that's why I'm here early, so you can mark those days and be like, do this, do that, maximize it like that. And you know, if you want to have a little bit of Anastasia in your life all the time, get my astrology planner to guide you, because this lists all of these transits and helps you. And in the beginning, there is some information about them that can help you understand them better on your own. So December 28th, like I said, just feeling sort of stagnant, tired, low on energy. Not the best time to take action, not the best time to take risks. You may struggle to figure out what to do, where to go, maybe deal with some fears. The best way to handle this is always by connecting with something outside of yourself, figuring out a worthy cause you want to be fighting for, maybe doing some volunteer work, meditation, connecting with spiritual topics. December 29th, Venus sextiles Pluto, enhancing your charm, your passion, your attractiveness, and then immediately enters Sagittarius. And Venus in Sagittarius is free, bold, loving. We get that Venus for about a month, 3 weeks or so. 3-4 weeks. Let me tell you exactly. I think it's until January. Venus, it's until January 23rd. So about a month, a little less. And this is Venus that is attracted to the mind more so than looks. She's adventurous, she's free. Very different vibe from Venus being in Scorpio. You suddenly care less about figuring out the secrets of your partner. Instead, you want to go and adventure with them. You want to experience the world with them. You want to have spirited conversations. So this will be a bit of a boost for Venus. On December 30th, Jupiter stations direct. And Jupiter stationing direct will bring forward momentum in the Taurus sector of your chart. It will be especially lovely for Sagittarius risings and Pisces risings because you are ruled by Jupiter. And we will all feel the planet of abundance and good luck become a little bit more abundant and a little bit more lucky. So if you'd like to know what these transits, including personal transits, mean for you, become a subscriber on my website, Anastasia.astrology.com, and get written horoscopes sent to you at the start of every month. I am going to go through some of the most important transits for each sign, but keep in mind that these are the rising sign horoscopes I give you at the start of every month are more general and they don't include every single transit. If you are an Aries rising, in November there was a lot of focus on your relationships, on your finances. Perhaps you were looking for a way to have more freedom financially and build new agreements, as well as your sector of education, travel, legal matters, publishing, and overall growth in life as you ask some important questions. In December, you're still continuing to look at that house of growth and maybe asking what your message is in the world. How can you have a life that is full of travel, or maybe you're thinking of relocating somewhere else, maybe you're addressing some legal matters. On December 1st, Mercury enters Capricorn, drawing attention to your house of career. Stays here until December 23rd. We also get the Sun entering Capricorn on December 21st. So your focus goes towards your status and your public life as you undertake new projects. Maybe you're learning something new and you're looking for ways to apply your knowledge. There is some lovely days when Mercury sextiles Saturn and Jupiter, trines Jupiter in your second house, and that is December 2nd, December 21st. Mercury sextiles Saturn, so your thinking is more grounded. It's a lovely time to start long-term projects. You just have that rational mind necessary for knowing which direction to take. And then December 7th and December 18th, we have Mercury trine Jupiter in your second house. And this is connecting your house of career with the house of money and values. And you either get financially rewarded for your work, or you experience a sense of accomplishment. So this professional life of yours, or professional projects, business projects, new ideas, will likely run into some kind of block or get stalled or will need another look as Mercury stations retrograde on December 13th. Mercury is retrograde until January 1st, and then on December 23rd, it returns into Sagittarius. So here you're looking at your professional ideas and what knowledge is required, right? Like Mercury retrograde in the house of career is a sign of a new chapter professionally. We're going to get a new moon here shortly, and so you're gearing up for a new start. Yet the retrograde going back into your 9th house, to me, is suggesting that you are needing to review something. And 9th house brings up topics of education. Maybe you need to take a class, right, or you need to pass an exam in order to become qualified for this new job that you're trying to take. Or your job will require travel and you need to reorganize your life. Or maybe there is a legal matter or an authority figure or a teacher, a mentor you need to contact so that you can move forward. So just be ready for professional matters to somehow involve education, travel, writing, legal matters, and then for things to move slower. On December 3rd, we have Venus in the 7th house square Pluto in the 10th, which could suggest power struggles in relationships, difficulty in your love life, or difficulty at work. And this will likely bring back some of the themes from early October when Mars squared Pluto. So look, it's interesting to me because we are talking about your career, and here this may reveal some kind of unhealthy, toxic dynamic, a power struggle that is preventing you from reaching your fullest potential and making changes to your life. On December 4th, Venus enters Scorpio, and this is your 8th house, and Venus spends most of the month in your 8th house. And to me, this is suggesting that after you've had this potential crisis and maybe dealt with some difficulty in relationship, you are now becoming more aware of what needs to change. 8th house is the place of healing. So you may be dealing with healing your old wounds, experiencing breakthroughs in therapy, especially around December 21st when Venus will be opposing Uranus in your 2nd house. You may be handling financial matters. Venus in the 8th from December 4th until December 29th could be a good time to pay off debts, renegotiate your agreements, make investments, handle inheritance matters. Please let me know how this resonates in the comments below. And another manifestation of this is perhaps your partner's finances are changing. But it's interesting because Venus in a trine, Venus in your 8th house will oppose Jupiter on December 9th and then will oppose Uranus on December 21st. And here you're looking at how can you have more freedom when it comes to money, when it comes to agreements to other people. And that may involve you separating from making some kind of big financial change, whether that means you let go of a job or you let go of relying on your ex-spouse, for example. Or this could also mean building new relationships and new agreements that are healthy, that are supportive, that are appealing and healthy. I may have already said healthy, but you can never have too much healthy, you guys. On December 25th, this same Venus will trine Neptune, and leading up to Christmas Day, we have this more easy, relaxing energy where your relationships feel more spiritual, you feel more connected to people in your life. On December 6th, Neptune stations direct in your 12th house, which could bring more clarity to the topics of healing. If you are considering becoming a healer, if you're considering tapping into your spiritual gifts and talents, Neptune stationing direct could bring some answers on how to better use them. And your mental health can get highlighted and can become more of a source of insight at this time. December 12th, we have a new moon in Sagittarius. This is new beginnings in your 9th house, new beginnings surrounding education, right as Mercury stationing retrograde, right? Like what I talked about with that whole, like, how does your career need education? How can it benefit from learning or teaching? How can it benefit from traveling? How can it benefit from writing? So the new moon in Sagittarius, the day before Mercury goes retrograde, is very growth oriented. To me, it's suggesting that there is new beginnings, that there is a new chapter, that somehow you are expanding your vision of reality to include a new you who is a teacher, who is a traveler, an adventurer, a mentor, a guide to other people, perhaps a writer. Let me know how this resonates down below, but I think it's quite exciting. On December 26th, we have the full moon in Cancer, your 4th house. This is a lovely full moon. It brings completion to the sector of real estate, family, home. Maybe you are finishing a renovation project. Maybe you are moving back together with your parents, or having a family member go through some kind of change in their life. Or just a sense, you may felt overcome with a sense of comfort at this time, where no matter how challenging and turbulent the life outside of your home is, your home feels like a safe heaven for you. On December 29th, Venus enters Sagittarius, goes into your 9th house. You will enjoy traveling, you will enjoy learning, even more focused on growth spiritually and knowledge-wise. You would like to learn more. And then December 30th, Jupiter stations direct in Taurus, your 2nd house, which suggests ease financially. If you've been dealing with some kind of financial question where you've been waiting on somebody else, or you've been kind of thinking about starting a business, not feeling quite ready, or you've been waiting for a raise, Jupiter going direct can definitely bring more forward momentum there. And if you'd like to know what 2024 has in store for you, check out my website and get a reading for 2024, a year ahead reading, or check out the shop section of my website to get a recorded option to save more. If you are a Taurus rising, November brought a lot of focus to your health and relationships, as well as perhaps a need for revolution, more freedom, more independence in relationships and the old ways of being, old ways of handling things, as well as your house of finances, sharing, your give and take dynamics with other people. In December, you're still handling financial matters as the Sun and Mars travel through Sagittarius. You may be negotiating contracts, maybe you're paying off debts or getting loans or expecting some kind of insurance payment, handling tax matters, inheritance, all of that kind of stuff. Mercury enters Capricorn, your 9th house, on December 1st. And here your mind goes towards learning. Your mind goes towards growth and maybe travel. Where, Mercury in Capricorn is quite traditional and it's quite grounded and quite rational. So if you are planning a trip around this time, you're going to be very much step by step. If you are thinking of studying, this will be the time when you're looking at all of the resources. What's interesting is Mercury doesn't just enter Capricorn. It enters Capricorn on December 1st and it goes retrograde on December 13th. And then when it retrogrades, it returns to your 8th house of money and resources. So I can see some kind of introduction starting early December of new themes, of new role in this world. 9th house is your guiding principle. It's your beliefs, principles, beliefs. So here you may be envisioning a different path for yourself that includes you traveling, that involves you teaching, that involves you writing, being a mentor to other people, maybe a lawyer, because 9th house represents legal matters sometimes. But then as Mercury goes retrograde on the 13th and then it enters Sagittarius on the 23rd, you are realizing that your dreams need to be carefully planned, that they need to be that the agreements with other people that will support your dreams need to be carefully considered and perhaps renegotiated. So I mentioned education, right? If you decide to go back to school, Mercury retrograding to your 8th house is a sign that you are looking at whether you need to get a loan, whether you need to maybe leave your job, whether you need to have a different agreement with your spouse who will take care of your child at this time. There is some kind of debt, there is some kind of financial matter, a loan, an agreement, a way in which you will depend on other people to support your dream that is calling your attention. Mercury in Capricorn will be making some lovely harmonious aspects, first to Saturn on December 2nd and then again December 21st. So Mercury in your 9th sextile Saturn in the 11th is a productive time. It's the time when you may want to schedule some kind of paperwork, filing, conversations with teachers, presenting your work, taking exams, and similarly December 7th and December 18th. And that would be Mercury sextiling Jupiter in your 1st house. So here, Mercury in the house of education travel connects with Jupiter in your 1st house, and you're getting a chance to present yourself as teacher, share your ideas, maybe publish some of your work and get appreciated for what you have, what you know and what you have accomplished, right? So December 3rd, Venus, your chart ruler, will square Pluto. And that can suggest some tensions related to your health, related to your workload, related to your beliefs that maybe are at odds with your colleagues or your partner's beliefs. Take a look back at early October when we had Mars square Pluto, because Venus is making the same aspect Mars made in October. So if you dealt with any tensions, any problems in the workplace, with teachers, or in relationships, you can expect that energy to return, and perhaps now you are looking at things differently, problem solving and finding solutions. Venus will immediately after that then enter Scorpio, your 7th house, until December 29th, and this is a very relationship-oriented Venus. Your focus on going on dates will increase. You will feel more driven to build relationships. If you're single, this could be new relationships. You're going on dates. This could be friendships that feel like marriage sometimes. This could be business opportunities coming into your life. It's a very passionate, deep, loving Venus, loyal Venus, but on the negative, she could be fearful of trust, maybe struggling to let someone in, struggling to let go of control. So some of your shadows will come up and will be most seen through relationships. Especially around December 9th, when Venus opposes Jupiter, and you may find yourself in a place of trying to please everyone or trying to do too many things. And then December 21st can be quite significant for you, Taurus rising, as a Venus-ruled person, as we have Venus in the 7th oppose Uranus in the 1st. And here you're very much examining your needs and your independence versus the needs of relationship, and perhaps trying to find a better balance or trying to figure out how you can have freedom to do you while still being in a relationship. I like that one of the last aspects Venus is making while in Scorpio is to Neptune, and that is on December 25th. So if you celebrate Christmas, this is a lovely couple of days. We have Venus in your 7th house trying Neptune in the 11th, and you're having a good time with your partner. Maybe you're starting to date a friend, or you're going out with friends and having a great time. On December 6th, Neptune stations direct in Pisces, your 11th house. We already had Saturn station direct in your 11th house, but Neptune in the 11th going direct on December 6th could be the time when you start to see what's realistic and what isn't in terms of your dreams. You may become more clear about your friendships, where you finally understand that this person is worth my time versus this person isn't, and just become more selective, more clear, more determined in terms of becoming someone's friend, or in terms of sorting through your friendships and choosing connections with more awareness, versus, well, Neptune was retrograde, you could have been more unclear about who's in your corner and who isn't. On December 12th, a day before Mercury stations retrograde, we get a new moon in Sagittarius, your 8th house. And that's fascinating, right? Because Mercury is coming back to Sagittarius. So there's a new moon in your house of debts, taxes, resources you share with other people, agreements you have with other people, inheritance, any kind of heavy karmic entanglements with other people, right as Mercury is about to go retrograde and return here. So here you're looking at the start of a new chapter that may involve you getting a loan, that may involve you getting in debt, or maybe you're planning to pay off a debt. There might be a new agreement between you and your partner. 8th house could be an engagement, or it could be a joint bank account, or some kind of agreement, some kind of new beginning together. If you are a business person, this could be a new business partnership, or any renegotiation, any financial changes that I have talked about early in your horoscope can be now brought to the forefront of your thinking, right? So needing to be more strategic and thoughtful with how you handle resources and share resources. December 26th, we get a full moon in Cancer. This is a full moon in your 3rd house. Very lovely. Suggests a chapter, a completion of the chapter of growth and changes to your relationships with siblings, neighbors. Maybe you're finishing a writing project. Maybe you're taking an exam. Maybe you're completing some kind of like hobby or project you've been working on. Like if you've been knitting a scarf the size of England, you're now done with it. Cancer is all about nurturance and comfort and peace. So here you're looking at your immediate environment and wondering how can you have more of that and have more joy. On December 29th, Venus, your chart ruler, enters Sagittarius, 8th house. So all of these questions of finances and sharing and loans and debts and taxes will get improved with Venus entering here. Your partner's resources may get better, and you may get some opportunities to pay off debts or start partnerships, maybe collaborate with other people and bring new ideas to life. Jupiter goes direct on December 30th in your 1st house. So this is lovely for personal action, for your health, for vitality. Jupiter being in the 1st house, going direct will definitely allow for more forward momentum in terms of taking personal action, asserting yourself, showing up as a teacher, mentor, and a source of wisdom. And if you'd like to know what the year ahead has in store for you, get a reading with me. Get your year ahead forecast by booking a discounted reading on my website, links down below. You can also purchase a recorded option and save even more in the shop section of my website. So give that a look and let me know how this has resonated with you. Moving on to Gemini rising. So if you are a Gemini rising, November brought a lot of focus to your house of fun, romance, creativity, with Venus being here. It made you handle some health matters and perhaps highlighted the pressures you're feeling between wanting freedom and being bogged down with all the little details you have to handle, and called you to rethink some agreements you have in your life and rethink some contracts or some partnerships. In December, the Sun and Mars are still early in the month, and Mars the entire month are in your 7th house, and you're looking at your relationships. Maybe you're dating more, maybe you're collaborating, maybe, like I said, you are renegotiating some contracts. Mercury enters Capricorn, your 8th house, on December 1st, stays here until December 23rd. And this highlights the need to talk about the agreements in your life, to talk about spoken and unspoken contracts you have with other people. You may be naturally more interested in your resources and finances, paying off debts, getting a loan, dealing with inheritance. But it's very heavily focused on how you deal with other people, whether you agree with them, whether you work well with them, and if not, what needs to be said, what needs to be negotiated. Your mental health can be under review here as well, because 8th house represents healing and sort of karmic entanglement. So you may become more aware of how you are still carrying some of the past karma into your present relationships. Interestingly enough, Mercury goes retrograde on the 13th and spends the rest of the month retrograde, going from your 8th house into the 7th house. So to me, this feels like you will need to rethink your finances. You will need to rethink your loans, maybe even look at your credit card bill and find a better way to pay it off. If there are any new partnerships and new agreements coming into your life, those might need to be retooled and talked about and kind of clarified. The fact that Mercury retrogrades on December 23rd into Sagittarius and returns to your 7th house, this feels very romantic or business oriented, or whoever in your life represents that significant other, right? Where you are perhaps the financial changes you are undergoing connected to that relationship, where if you have a child, you need to set some money aside to start their college fund, or if you're in a marriage and you're getting a mortgage, you and your partner need to sit down and figure out how you will pay it off. There are some really kind of good days to have those conversations, and that is December 2nd, 7th, 18th and 21st, and that is when Mercury in your 8th house is making aspects to Saturn in the 10th. So December 2nd and 21st is Mercury and Saturn, which could actually be a good time to bring up your need for more resources to your boss and kind of get the tools, the finances, the help you need. And then December 7th, 18th is Mercury sextile Jupiter, and that could bring good news, opportunities, and sort of breakthroughs in your life. On December 4th, Venus enters Scorpio. So actually first December 3rd, Venus in your 5th house will square Pluto in the 8th, which can bring these questions of money and resources and agreements and who does what and whether there's fairness in a relationship to the forefront and cause some conflicts. Be mindful, be aware that this is a very intense and deep and transformative energy. Take a look back at early October when Mars squared Pluto on October 8th, because some of that energy can be coming back to light. I just feel like for you, Gemini risings, I feel like if you've been overwhelmed, if you've been, if you've been dealing with some health crisis, or if work just been too much and your life didn't have enough joy, every transit is an invitation to take a small step to have more fun, to have more freedom, to have better relationships. And you may have to deal with some crises first. My Gemini rising friend has been dealing with a cold for a while, so that's very frustrating. But you may have to address some of the challenging energies so that you can have more fun later. On December 4th, funny enough, Venus enters Scorpio, your 6th house, and stays here pretty much the entire December. And this is your time to improve your everyday life. How can you have more fun while working? How can you streamline your schedule? How can you take better care of your health? Maybe adding supplements, maybe donating some of your clothes, maybe listening to music while you're working. This could be your invitation to make positive changes. Watch out for overextending yourself on December 9th, and watch out for pushing yourself too hard on December 21st. As we have Venus oppose Jupiter and then oppose Uranus. So if you take things too far on December 9th, then on the 21st, it can lead you to just sort of burn the office down, or throw your hands in the air and walk away. So try to take it easy. Try to be patient with yourself and with other people, especially with yourself, because I can see these oppositions to 12th house planets as like trying to do too much. On December 25th, Venus in the 6th will trine Neptune in the 10th, which feels very soothing. It feels like you're getting appreciation from work, or you're getting a sense of inspiration, maybe more clarity about what you want to be doing. It's also just, it's a Christmas day. This starts to be in effect a couple of days before, a couple of days after, and it's just a lovely opportunity to take it easy. We also have Neptune stationing direct this month on December 6th, and this can bring more clarity and more understanding of what's realistic and what is just a pipe dream or an illusion in your house of career. So be on the lookout for that. On December 12th, there's a new moon in your house of relationships. And that is, funny enough, happens right as Mercury is stationing retrograde, right? So it's like new beginning in the house of relationships, but it may involve dating somebody from the past, maybe someone from your past coming into your life. It can involve needing to renegotiate something in your relationship because Mercury is stationing retrograde in the house of agreements, shared dynamics, give and take dynamics. So the new moon in the house of relationships is very much connected to whatever is happening in your finances, right? If you're getting a loan, you and your partner need to rethink how you spend money. If you are investing money, perhaps similar kind of question. Maybe you're getting a loan to start a business, right? So new moon in Sagittarius in the 7th house could also be about starting a business potentially. On December 26th, we have a full moon in Cancer, your 2nd house. Lovely full moon, beautiful energy. And this to me suggests financial changes where you may get a bonus, you may pay off a debt, maybe your professional relationship is changing where you're getting a raise, or you're transitioning from being an employee to being a boss or to being a business owner. And very much a lot of it would be about question of comfort and security. So I wonder as well, like questions of like what you value and making changes to bring more comfort and security, and also looking at what is worth investing into and what is worth spending on. And perhaps this full moon is suggesting that you are investing in yourself, that you are investing in your health and making some kind of important financial decisions. On December 29th, Venus enters Sagittarius, your 7th house. This is even more of a positive energy for dating, for partnering up, for negotiating. She will be supportive. She stays in Sagittarius until January 23rd approximately, and lovely for going on dates. And you already have this energy natally, but you're likely to choose people who are foreign, who are intellectual, different, well-rounded, well-educated. And finally, on December 30th, Jupiter stations direct in Taurus, your 12th house, and this could bring more forward momentum connected to spiritual pursuits, to your imagination and creative pursuits, to matters connected to foreign lands. If you've been waiting for some kind of visa or some kind of clarity, this would be the time. You may start to feel better mentally, because this is the house of mental health, and just sort of experience more forward momentum, especially as Mercury stations direct on the 1st and you are Mercury ruled. And if you'd like to know what year ahead has in store for you, go to my website, Anastasia Does Astrology, and book a one-on-one consultation with me to look at 2024. You can currently save $20 on that reading, links and coupon codes down below, or you can purchase a recorded reading to save even more in the shop section of my chart, so my website. So definitely check that out. And let me know how this resonates down below. My lovely Cancer risings, November brought a lot of focus to your house of home and family. to your sector of dating, as you potentially went on more dates, or maybe you had more fun and explored creative passions, as well as your house of health, kind of grunt work and problem solving. In December, you're still dealing with a fair amount of work and maybe handling health matters, maybe making improvements to your everyday life. As the Sun and Mars travel through Sagittarius, you may be more relationship-oriented come December 1st as Mercury enters Capricorn, your 7th house. Mercury will stay here until December 23rd, and it goes retrograde on December 13th. So Mercury in the 7th house in general will bring your attention to relationships. You may find yourself having more conversations about where this relationship going, or even talking about love more. Maybe you're talking to your friends about their relationship. You may find yourself drawn to people who are more intelligent, more talkative, and you may experience just a faster turnaround in your love life where you're going on dates, not necessarily committing to anyone, but just being like open. Let's see what's out there. There are good days. December 2nd, December 21st, Mercury sextiles Saturn in your 9th house, and it's lovely for partnerships that involve education, for some kind of tandem work with teachers, classmates, partnerships that also involve travel, legal matters, writing. You can accomplish more together with other people. And then December 7th and December 18th, I wrote 1818 in my notes, which is like gonna keep every rising sign, it keeps popping up, and I'm like, that's not a real date. But December 7th, December 18th, Mercury will sextile Jupiter in the 11th, and this could be your opportunity to move a friendship to the next level, to go out with friends and maybe meet someone, or to start a partnership with a friend. If you're not interested in dating, this 7th house transit could really be about like any kind of important one-on-one relationship that needs attention, right? Because on December 13th, Mercury stations retrograde in your 7th house, and you are needing to review your agreements with other people. You're needing to rethink your relationships. On December 23rd, Mercury will retrograde into Sagittarius, your 6th house. So it's some kind of relationship retooling and relationship change that is either allowing you to do work better or allowing you to take care of your health or the health of someone in your life, like your child, better. Maybe you've signed a contract, or you've been starting a business partnership, and Mercury retrograding, going back into your 6th house, is suggesting that you're not quite agreeing with all the terms of the contract, and so you need to renegotiate. At this time too, you may be getting hit by your exes and hearing from people who once were important to you, or people you met in the past, sort of trying to squeeze their way back into your life. So be aware of that and be careful saying yes to people you already know are not good for you. On December 3rd, there might be some tension between your relationship and your family, maybe some family drama, maybe some karmic conflict, like the past coming to light, and just very heated debates and passions as Venus squares Pluto. So this is Venus in the 4th house square Pluto in the 7th, and I feel like you're looking at your family and you're looking at your childhood and realizing how it's still impacting your life, or you're looking at the relationship with the family that is maybe affecting your love life. Like my friend who's a Cancer rising lives with her mom, and once in a while she would be like, why am I not in a relationship? And I'm like, well, you kind of are. You're married to your mom, right? So December 3rd could be very telling and also very dramatic in a way. It could bring back some of the themes from early October when Mars squared Pluto. So beware of the explosive passions and try to handle this energy with patience and calmness. Venus enters Scorpio on December 4th and will stay in Scorpio most of the month. And this is Venus in the house Joy. 5th house is the place of pleasure, romance, creativity, and children. And so this Venus will be the time of even more indicator of your love life being busy right now, right? I talked about that with Mercury in the 7th. Venus in the 5th is very much an invitation to go out, to schedule some dates, to have fun, to go dancing. You may enjoy spending time with kids a lot more. Beware of overdoing it around December 9th as Venus opposes Jupiter, and then there might be some friendship tensions, some kind of drama between maybe your friend who has a crush on you gets upset with your new date and starts fighting with you, and that's December 21st when Venus opposes Uranus. You may also, around December 21st, you may experience a breakthrough in relationship that has to do with your dreams, with your plans for the future, with your desires in life and in love. I like that December 25th, we have Venus in the 5th, trine Neptune in the 9th, so it sort of calms down the chaotic energy, allows you to find compromise, to have a good time, to build connections, maybe even date someone foreign or date your classmate, or maybe even enjoy learning something. I'm sorry for the construction sound. I don't know if you can hear it. Hopefully, oh, it's gone now. Hopefully it doesn't keep popping up. December 6th, Neptune stations direct in Pisces, your 9th house, suggesting more clarity and more understanding what's realistic when it comes to travel, education, legal matters, writing. Your mindset might be shifting and you might be more clear about what exactly you're trying to accomplish. December 12th, a day before Mercury goes retrograde, brings a new moon in Sagittarius, your 6th house, suggesting new beginnings in your professional life, new beginnings in health. And it's interesting because Mercury is stationing retrograde and returning into your 6th house. So once again, I feel like you're looking at your workload, you're looking at how you take care of your health, at how you spend your time, and realizing that something needs to change, something needs to transform. Maybe, maybe you're looking for a better job, maybe you're looking for a different agreement with your partner. Let me know how this resonates down below. We have an exciting full moon in Cancer on December 26th. This is a full moon in your 1st house. It has a lot of harmonious aspects to it and represents completion of a chapter of a personal growth that started in July 2023. You are maybe changing your look, you're changing your career, you're changing your health routines, and coming to a place of inner comfort and security. And December 29th, Venus enters Sagittarius, more support for your house of health, for your house of work, more ease there, a better relationship with colleagues, more opportunities to enjoy your professional life. And on December 30th, Jupiter stations direct in Taurus, your 11th house. So if you felt a little bit unsure about your future, if you felt like you didn't have friendships that were supportive of you, Jupiter going direct could bring more forward momentum in terms of connecting with like-minded people, in terms of figuring out your path and your direction in life. There might be, if you're someone who's a creator and you're working on social media, Jupiter in the 11th can bring more progress and more accomplishment in those areas. And if you're curious to know what 2024 has in store for you, visit my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. You can save in December and January and get $20 off the live in-person consultation, or save even more and get a recorded reading in the shop section of my website. Links and coupon codes are down there. If you are a Leo rising, November brought a lot of focus to your sector of communication, schedule, short trips, siblings, and community, as well as your house of home, family, and living situation, and perhaps a need of some change, need for change, liberation, freedom in your professional life, as well as your house of pleasure, joy, and romance. Could be connected, right? Could be that need for freedom tied to you just wanting more pleasure and more fun. In December, you're continuing to date, continuing to create and explore your passions as the Sun and Mars travel through Sagittarius. On December 1st, Mercury enters Capricorn, your 6th house, and here you are. Capricorn is very steady, it's very productive and rational and grounded, right? So Mercury in the 6th house will bring a lot of attention to your work, to your health, to problem solving. There are some positive days professionally and perhaps even rewarding days. December 2nd, December 21st, as Mercury in the 6th house of the grind, sextiles Saturn in the house of debts and taxes. So perhaps you are really focusing on paying off your debts. And then we have a harmonious aspect to the house of career on December 7th and 18th, which could literally bring professional opportunities, a chance to change your position, a chance to find a new job, present your idea, start a business, or move forward with some kind of creative project. So December 2nd, 21st, 7th, and 18th are really lovely. Mercury is also going to go retrograde on December 13th for the rest of the month. Not only is it going to go retrograde, but it's going to move from your 6th house into your 5th house. So whatever the work that you're doing, the projects that you are getting interested in, Mercury in the 6th could be a new job. It could be a sign of you rethinking your exercise routine. And the retrograde will suggest that you need to rethink how you handle work, rethink how you take care of yourself or how you exercise. And then the retrograde going back into your 5th house is once again a question, well, are you having fun? Is this exercise routine enjoyable, right? Is your work life allowing time for dating, or whether it's letting you go out and create at the same time? So very much like the retrograde from the 6th into the 5th is like, how can you focus not just on problem solving? How can you focus not just on taking care of duties, but also have fun, also have a good time, also let yourself date, right? And enjoy life. So some important questions this month. December 3rd, Venus in your 3rd house will square Pluto in the 6th, and that could bring some passionate exchanges, power struggles, control issues, maybe tensions in relationships with siblings or relationships with colleagues. Take a look back at October 8th. We had Mars squaring Pluto at the time, bringing difficulty, and so some of that energy might come back. Because it's Venus, I wonder if now you're actually moving through it and healing and finding more ease. On December 4th, shortly after this more crisis type situation, maybe you're having like a heated exchange with your roommate, right? And then on December 4th, Venus enters Scorpio, which is your 4th house of home and family, stays here pretty much the entire month. And you're looking at how you can change your living situation. So if you had a debate with your roommate, right, Venus in the 4th could be the time in which you are either improving that relationship, or maybe they move out and you are finding ways to make your place more your own. You're maybe redecorating, you're maybe connecting with family. Venus being in Scorpio until December 29th is quite nice for rebuilding family relationships. I hope you can't hear this crazy construction that's going on. Seems like there's some outside, there's some in the building, can't escape it. So this, like I said, this could be a good time for building familial relationships and improving your living situation. Watch out for overextending yourself and, for some professional tensions on December 9th as Venus opposes Jupiter in your 10th house. And then there might be some more difficult energy, kind of breakthroughs and breakdowns at work that then affect your living situation or call you to rethink your living situation on December 21st as Venus opposes Uranus. Once again, you are very much, I think, like in a place of being ready for a professional revolution. And so your sense of comfort, your sense of security is getting affected by that inner restlessness and the need for change. I like that, Venus then goes on to trine Neptune, sextile Pluto. On December 25th, Venus will be trining Neptune, which is suggesting more ease, more healing, kind of more positive conversations, maybe even gains and financial rewards that come through other people or that come from your own perseverance and your ability to kind of, stick to it. On December 6th, Neptune stations direct in your 8th house, and this could bring more clarity about your finances, about your entanglements with other people, as well as your relationships with other people, because Neptune is dreams, but it's also illusions. So when it goes direct, you can have more understanding of what's realistic. Like, will your boyfriend marry you, right? Or do they just want to be your boyfriend forever? Are they happy with the way things are? Like, it can bring like a sense of more understanding. On December 12th, we have a new moon in Sagittarius, just the day before Mercury stations retrograde. Here you're looking at the new beginnings in the sector of love, in the sector of self-expression, creative projects, new projects, children and parenthood, becoming a parent, but also bringing forth new ideas, right? Envisioning a new chapter of your life. And the fact that Mercury is stationing retrograde, it's once again like the energy of like, you have duties, you have, your 6th house is Capricorn. You are used to being the person who is like analytical and grounded and can handle little things and can be trustworthy. But how can you retool that life to let more fun in? How can you change your work to have more pleasure in it? So not just outside of work, you're enjoying what you're doing, but also at work. December 26th, we have a fun full moon in Cancer. I'm quite excited about this full moon. For you, it could bring this desire to retreat and take some time, spend some time alone. Around the same time, right on the 25th, we have Venus trining Neptune. So maybe you're spending time with your partner, maybe you're connecting with family, maybe you're just sort of letting go of bad habits, finding a sense of security in a spiritual practice, and either healing yourself or becoming a healer. I really like this full moon. It has very soothing, like chicken soup energy is the full moon in Cancer energy. On December 29th, Venus enters Sagittarius. This is Venus in her house Joy, in your house of love and fun. So beautiful time to go on dates, beautiful time to create, write, dance, spend time with kids, make kids, have sex. Just kind of beautiful, exciting energy. And this lasts until January 23rd. And then on December 30th, Jupiter stations direct in your 10th house of career. And if you felt a little bit stagnant, if you felt like the bounty of Jupiter wasn't as bountiful, right? Jupiter going direct can definitely bring more opportunities. It can bring more forward momentum, more answers in your professional life. And if you want to know what the year ahead has in store for you, visit my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com, and book your year ahead reading. You can currently save $20 or save $40 by purchasing a recorded option, and that will be found in my shop section. Links and coupon codes are down below. And let me know how this resonates as well. For Virgo risings, November brought a lot of focus to your house of money and values, your house of communication, skills, schedule, your everyday life, your immediate environment, and perhaps a need for freedom from some kind of outdated beliefs, some kind of outdated agreements and energies in the sector of travel, education, publishing, and writing, perhaps as you're trying to reinvent yourself and have more freedom in the everyday life, as well as your house of home, family, and living situation. And this focus on the home, family, and living situation continues in December, as maybe you are celebrating holidays together, spending time with family, reinventing, renovating, changing your home. Even more so can be seen later in the month, because early in the month, on December 1st, Mercury enters Capricorn. And that draws part of your attention from home and family to your creative self-expression. You may be more interested in partnering up, going on dates, creating something, writing, right? Like Mercury in the 5th can be very prolific in terms of writing. There are some positive dates for dating, especially are December 2nd, December 21st, as Mercury in your 5th sextile Saturn. Either you are connecting with your partner deeply, or you may be committing to a relationship. You may also be experiencing breakthroughs and growth in your professional or business partnership. And then December 7th and 18th are also quite nice because Mercury will be sextiling Jupiter in your 9th house. And this could be opportunities connected to education, travel, writing, and law. But early in the month, December 1st, Mercury enters Capricorn, and you are interested in scratching your creative itch. But then on December 13th, Mercury stations retrograde, and perhaps your inspiration dwindles down, or you start to question a relationship, or you start to question your creative project. And what's interesting is that on the 23rd of December, Mercury returns to Sagittarius. So here we're connecting the house of pleasure, joy, love to the house of home, family, and living situation. And I wonder if you need to change your home in order to allow for your creative passion, right? Do you need to open space for a painting studio, paint studio, or do you need to move because your child is growing and needs a separate room? Or, or your relationship is changing as well, and now you're moving in together with your partner. So very kind of interesting dynamics around home, family, living situation. Even more so on December 12th, we have a new moon in your 4th house of home and family. So opportunities to change where you live, opportunities to change who you live with, right? Maybe you're also examining your childhood and your familial relationships and how your parents' relationship is impacting your love life right now. Very kind of both, I think, physically in terms of changing your living situation, significant month, but also, and remember, you're a Virgo rising, you are ruled by Mercury, so whatever Mercury is doing is more important for you. So Mercury being retrograde most of the month is suggesting kind of a sleepier, quieter, more introspective period for you. But yeah, like I said, either a tangible change of like relocation, rebuilding, readjusting your living situation, or a more spiritual, like healing the past, healing childhood wounds, standing up for yourself, establishing better boundaries with family. There's a lot of possible changes here. December 3rd can have a bit of a difficult energy as Venus in your 2nd house squares Pluto in the 5th. I can see this as conflicts related to money with your romantic partner, disagreements about what direction to take with your creative collaborator, maybe just an overall some kind of tension related to resources. Take a look back at early October. We had Mars squaring Pluto on October 8th. So if you dealt with any shadows, if you faced any difficult conversations, they might be coming back and perhaps offering solutions this time around, right? Like it's Venus, so she can be a bit of a diplomat and help us figure things out. Right after that, on December 4th, Venus enters Scorpio, and this is your 3rd house. Stays here most of the month. Venus in the 3rd house could be quite inspirational. She can bring new ideas, new hobbies, new passions. You will be interested in communicating about deep topics, dating a neighbor, or partnering up with a sibling as Venus trines Saturn pretty immediately is likely here, but also opportunities to write, go on short trips, study, and perhaps connect with people in your immediate environment. Very much grounded Venus. However, on December 9th and 21st, you may run into tensions between what's on your agenda and your to-do list and the demands of education, the demands of law and legal matters, like any documents you're waiting for that are maybe not letting you kind of pursue your business, right? There might be exams that you're taking, or your publisher putting too much pressure on you. So December 9th and 21st, like I said, could be a bit tense and can bring a sense of like higher mind and ideals and beliefs affecting your everyday life, ideological debates, conflicts about the world and politics. So be, December 9th, December 21st, be really careful and make sure you're not overextending yourself and not taking on too much. December 25th, though, we have Venus in your third house trining Neptune in the seventh, and this is soothing. This is supportive, and I like that this is Christmas Day and we have some happy vibes at the time. So this is third and seventh, which means you can be having some healing, powerful conversations with siblings, with neighbors. Romantic energy between you and the neighbor is a possibility, or maybe volunteering in the neighborhood, connecting with people around you. Quite a supportive, beautiful energy. On December 6th, Neptune stations direct in Pisces, your seventh house. We already had Saturn go direct here, but Neptune stationing direct can be like the final moment of clarity where you become more understanding of what you want in love, of whether your partner is the right person for you. Very much the time when all of the fog clears and the illusions and reality separate, so that you can know what you want better. Later in the month, December 26th, we also get a beautiful full moon in Cancer, which is your 11th house. And here you may very much feel connected to your community and connected to your friendships. This could be some kind of change and turning point in your social media journey, in your friendship, in your network. Maybe you're finishing a project with friends, maybe you're volunteering with friends and taking on a different role where you're more of a mama bear of the group. Like Cancer is very nurturing, right? So either you're feeling like nurturing your friendships, or you feel nurtured by people in your life at this time. And maybe even making decisions about the future that are connected to that energy of being a caretaker, caregiver. On December 29th, Venus enters Sagittarius, your fourth house, bringing some happy energy to the house of home and family. You will feel a desire to improve your living situation. You may be drawn to spend more time with family and just overall feel more at ease in the company of your family. And then on December 30th, Jupiter stations direct in Taurus, your ninth house, and that can be a green light for any education, travel, legal matters, writing projects, like if you've been waiting for your editor to reach back and tell you their opinion, and just an overall perhaps sense of clarity with the direction that your life is going in. And if you'd like to know what 2024 has in store for you, visit my website to book your 2024 year ahead reading. You can currently save $20 on the live one, or save $40 if you choose the recorded option in the shop section of my website. So give that a look. Libra risings. November brought a lot of focus to your house of self, your image, as you rethought your style and the way you present yourself to the world. Your sector of finances and values, highlighting the need to have agreements that are more freeing, to have different dynamics, to have more liberation in the sector of resources, as well as your house of business, communication, skills, schedule. Similarly, I think like introducing new ideas, but also reminding you that you have quite a heavy workload, calling you to move slowly. In December, Sagittarius season is in full swing and you are communicating. Your schedule is more busy. You're going on more short trips. You're writing. you're hustling, you're busy. You may find yourself being more drawn to spend time with family or more interested in real estate and changing your living situation as Mercury enters Capricorn, your 4th house. And that happens on December 1st. So pretty much first day of the month, Mercury enters Capricorn. And Mercury will retrograde in Capricorn on December 13th, moving from your 4th house into the 3rd house on December 23rd. So Mercury is retrograde starting December 13th until January 1st. And the retrograde from the 4th into the 3rd house can be very much a need to rethink your living situation, to bring more, to give you more space, right? We're going from the 4th into the 3rd, and 3rd is the logistics, 3rd is your business, 3rd is your hobbies, right? As a Libra rising, for example, I cannot know exactly how this would manifest for me, but I make candles, right? I make candles, I make oils, and I live in a studio apartment in New York City. So space and storage is very much a big question, right? So if we're sticking with my example, this could be like, how do you maximize your space? 4th house into the 3rd house could also be, how can you communicate with your family members better? How can you be more clear, right? Because you're going from the house of relationships with family to the house of communication. So either changing logistics of your living situation or rethinking how you communicate is quite likely here. And then Venus goes through important changes this month. So on December 3rd, Venus in your 1st house will square Pluto in the 4th. So this could actually introduce a tension in the home, introduce a conflict with the family. But let me actually correct that. Not necessarily introduce, but push on it, right? We had Mars squaring Pluto in October 8th exactly. So take a look back if you dealt with any tensions, if you felt any like inner shadows come up, or if you dealt with any drama in your family life, because that might come back to light again and potentially offer you a chance to solve it or to move past it. On December 4th, Venus enters Scorpio, your 2nd house, and will stay here until December 29th. And here you are reevaluating your finances, you are reevaluating what's important to you. So perhaps looking at, making money through more joyful ways, or looking at making money through sales, or even exploring projects that are more enjoyable. Venus in the 2nd house could also be the time of more financial rewards, more recognition. Of course, watch out for the classical Scorpio control issues and power struggles and fears connected to resources, or fears of giving up too much of yourself and becoming too vulnerable. All of that can be highlighted at the time. And conflicts and tensions around your resources, your input, your finances, and those of your partner can be especially highlighted on December 9th and 21st, because on the 9th, Venus in the 2nd opposes Jupiter in the 8th, which could be suggestive of maybe spending too much, maybe being pulled between your personal goals and the goals of the relationship, and sort of feeling frustrated about that. And then on December 21st, Venus in the 2nd will oppose Uranus in the 8th, and that could bring breakthroughs, breakdowns related to your partner's money, to debts, like you find out about some kind of debt you didn't know about and now you have to pay it off. This could also be actually a positive change, where maybe if you've been waiting for an inheritance to come through, at this time it does, and offer you a new influx of money. But very much like needing to look at your give and take dynamics, needing to look at where you're being too dependent on other people versus where you're being too resistant of trusting other people to help you. I like December 25th, Venus in the 2nd will trine Neptune in the 6th. It's Christmas Day. It has a sense of accomplishment, rest, inspiration, ease, relaxation. So perhaps if you dealt with any drama around this time, it gets better. On December 6th, Neptune stations direct in your 6th house, and this could be the time when you start to get a better grip on your workload. It could also be the time when you start to understand what's happening with your health better. Maybe, schedule some much needed doctor's appointments, or start to understand what's realistic versus what's not. As a Libra rising, I've been feeling extremely busy and just sort of to a point that there's not enough hours in a day. And I wonder, if Neptune going direct, Saturn has already stationed direct, could be an invitation to look at what actually demands my time versus what can be saved for later. On December 12th, we have a new moon in Sagittarius, your 3rd house, a day before Mercury goes retrograde in your 2nd house and about to kind of retrograde into, before Mercury goes retrograde in your 4th and about to return into the 3rd. But the new moon in the 3rd house is suggestion of a new logistics. Once again, like your schedule changing, your business approach changing, your communication style changing, right? And once again, Mercury retrograde begins in the 4th, goes into the 3rd. It's like, how can you change your everyday life to have better flow? How can you change communication to have better relationships? And so new moon in the 3rd is an invitation to communicate more honestly, to get in touch with your skills, to manipulate your environment as much as you can to allow more freedom. You may be traveling more and starting a chapter of your life that includes more short trips. You may be starting a writing project or starting to learn something as well. December 26th, there's a beautiful full moon in Cancer, your 10th house, and this is an important culmination point in your professional life where you are closing a chapter, completing a big project, celebrating your accomplishment, and maybe getting ready for new beginnings, right? It's a very supportive new moon because there is harmonious aspects to Jupiter in your house of debts and taxes and partnerships, and Saturn in your house of everyday work. So you may experience a sense of, being rewarded for the hard work that you put in. On December 29th, Venus enters Sagittarius, your 3rd house. Your chart ruler leaves the sign that she was in detriment in and sort of comes out, and you start to feel more chatty, more adventurous. You may have more ideas, more desire to express yourself in a visible way. So that could mean starting a blog or doing more lives or filming more videos. It's just like it's a very creative, exciting energy, and because it's your chart ruler, especially important for you. And on December 30th, Jupiter stations direct in Taurus, your 8th house. And once again, if you've been dealing with some kind of financial matters, if you have been trying to figure out some kind of loan or mortgage or inheritance, Jupiter going direct can offer forward momentum and bring solutions to those areas. Maybe even improve your partner's resources if they're waiting for some kind of payment, and make questions of like taxes and loans and mortgages and all of that kind of stuff easier to get them, easier to pay them. And if you want to know what's ahead for you in 2024, visit my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com, and you can currently get $20 off the live 2024 forecast, or you can save even more by going to the shop section of my website and purchasing a recorded reading, which is still attuned to your natal chart, just takes away the face-to-face conversation part, and you can find out what's ahead for you. And then go get my planner if you haven't yet. So you have all the help you need. If you are a Scorpio rising, in November there was a lot of focus on your house of friendships and networks. There was also a lot of focus on the sector of, no. So if you are a Scorpio rising in November, there was a lot of focus on your house of mental health and imagination, on your house of self and personal interests, and perhaps some tensions between your desires or needs of your relationship, and like a need to reinvent what you're doing and your dynamics with other people, as well as your financial sector and the place of money, values, resources you have or you need. In December, you're still going to be thick in the middle of financial questions as you're paying off debts, allocating resources, negotiating, investing, making some big purchases. And then on December 1st, Mercury will enter Capricorn, which is your third house, and will stay in Capricorn until December 23rd, retrograding starting December 13th. So the retrograde will last between 13th and the end of the month. And at first, Mercury entering your third house could be an invitation to stretch your brain, to learn new things, to explore writing, to explore new skills, to communicate about something important to you. You are getting some kind of new downloads and new ideas, and maybe like diving deep into new hobbies and new passions. But then on the 13th, Mercury stations retrograde, and that suggests that perhaps you need to rethink these new passions. And as Mercury goes backwards into your second house, I wonder if you are examining how feasible are these passions, right? You are examining how lucrative can they be. Because maybe you just signed up for a course and paid a ton of money for it, thinking that you can become the next, fancy astrologer, but you need to figure out how to market yourself or who to partner up with to get that exposure. So very much question of how can your ideas bring you money, or how can you invest into your passions and into your hobbies and maybe have more, have sort of more financial freedom can be highlighted here. What's interesting is not only Mercury retrogrades into Sagittarius, your second house, but we also get, the day before Mercury stations retrograde, we get a new moon in Sagittarius, your second house. So you are, with all of this, you just went through your personal rebirth as a Scorpio rising with Scorpio season, Scorpio new moon. And now that you have had that rebirth, you're starting to formulate a plan. And so the new moon in the second house with Mercury in the third house, it's very much like, okay, I have these interests, I have these skills, I have these desires, and how can I bring them all together, right? So the new moon on December 12th in your second house could be the time you conceive of a new business idea, the time you envision a new position for yourself at the company, or you think of starting a new project. You're kind of very much trying to connect your values with your finances, I think, at this time. But the retrograde to me is a sign of like needing to take it slow and needing to rethink, rewrite, redo, review, and very much you're sort of getting practical concerns catch up with you and tell you like, okay, you have these passions, but you also have debts to pay, or you also have, you also need to figure out how you're going to make money from it. On December 3rd, we have a bit of a tense energy as Venus squares Pluto between your 12th and your 3rd house, which could bring communication, explosive conflicts, difficulties in communication. There may be power struggles related to siblings or neighbors, or some kind of logistical issue that throws you off kind of track and you get really frustrated. So be patient and take a look back at early October when Mars squared Pluto, because we had the same aspect in October. And perhaps this time around you can handle things differently and find solutions easier. On December 4th, Venus enters Scorpio, and this is your first house. So Venus, she will be in Scorpio until December 29th, so most of the month. And this is the time when you are your most charming, your most beautiful. You may get more compliments. You may be more interested in changing your look and updating your wardrobe and, you know, coloring your hair, getting your nails done. So it's quite lovely. But there might be some tensions romantically and in your business partnerships around December 9th. And then again on December 21st. The 9th is softer because Venus opposes Jupiter in the 7th, and I can just see you trying to do too much and trying to maybe handle what you want and what your partner wants. And then on the 21st, Venus opposes Uranus, and you feel like you've had enough. You feel like you want your freedom, you want your independence, and there might be a conflict in a relationship. There might also be some kind of surprise or conflict, you know, something might be coming from your partner where they instigate some drama because they are struggling somehow, or they have these like surprising new ideas that do not quite gel with you. I do like that eventually on December 25th, Venus will trine Neptune in your 5th house. And that is comforting, soothing. This is Christmas Day if you're celebrating, and we have like the time to connect, spend time with kids. There is romantic ease, there's creative inspiration. So overall, quite lovely energy. On December 6th, Neptune stations direct in Pisces, your 5th house. So if you have been feeling uninspired creatively, if you have been asking yourself what's realistic, what's not, Neptune going direct can bring some answers, both when it comes to being a parent and when it comes to love, potentially. And when I say a parent, I mean a parent of a creative child. Like if you've been birthing a project, Neptune going direct can make it easier to separate tangible from pipe dreams, something that cannot happen, basically. So there is an element of like clarity coming that way. On December 26th, we get a full moon in Cancer, your 9th house, and this could be an important mental shift because 9th house represents your beliefs and philosophies. So where you're perhaps starting to feel more comfortable or more confident with yourself. Cancer wants to nest and feel secure. There might be some kind of changes in the sector of education where you're completing. This curl is like keeps trying to get in, which let's let it. But yeah, like maybe you are completing a chapter of education. Maybe you're graduating, maybe you're taking an exam, maybe you're going on a trip you've been planning for a while, or if you have been dealing with any kind of legal matters, waiting for visas. This full moon can be the time when you get the visa you've been waiting for. And finally, like a writing project. If you've been trying to finish a writing project, this could be a good time for that. On December 29th, Venus enters Sagittarius. This is your 2nd house. She can bless you with better finances, more rewards. You may be spending more money on gifts or spending more money on beauty products and just receiving more gifts potentially as well. And on December 30th, Jupiter goes direct in your 7th house, which is beneficial for your relationships and is beneficial for your partner's life. Like if you've felt like your relationship was a little bit stagnant or you weren't clear which direction it's going in, or if your partner was struggling, Jupiter going direct can make progress a little bit easier for them. They can maybe get more clarity in life and start to feel better about themselves and about the direction their life is going in. And if you'd like to know what 2024 has in store for you, visit my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. You can get a discounted reading in person, year ahead reading with me and save $20, or buy a recorded reading in the shop section of my site and save $40. So definitely check that out and let me know how this horoscope resonates with you down below. If you are a Sagittarius rising, November brought a lot of focus to your house of friendships, networks, hopes and dreams, your private life and your mental health, as well as your blind spot and hidden interests or self-defeating tendencies, as well as a need to free yourself from some of those. and your house of identity and self-understanding and kind of personal interests. In December, we continue with this quest for self-understanding as the Sun and Mars travel through your first house. You actually get a new moon in your first house on December 12th, and this is an opportunity to reinvent yourself, to start new routines, to change your look, to rediscover yourself. What's interesting is there's going to be a retrograde that will also activate your first house. So you're very clearly trying to figure out who you are in this changing environment and in your changing life. On December 1st, Mercury enters Capricorn. And so Mercury goes into your second house, which suggests high focus on making and spending money. And Mercury in the second house is very much all about making money through your intellect, right? So it could be that you're making money by writing, or you're making money by selling something, or maybe your job requires you to commute more. But a lot of thoughts about investments and resources and sort of rethinking how you spend money. The retrograde, the fact that Mercury goes retrograde on December 13th, and that is tied to the new moon that we get only a day before the retrograde, right? To me, it's interesting because this is a rethinking of your finances and the way you spend money. And it's also a chance to rethink how you make money, I think. Like second house retrograde could also be very much about what you value in life, what is important to you, and how your resources are allocated. Are you investing into people in your life but forgetting to take care of yourself? Because the retrograde going back into your first house is reminding you that you gotta put the mask on yourself first before you put it on the child or somebody else in your life, right? So like an interesting manifestation, which could be very much that about investing and taking care of yourself and, rethinking what's important to you and how your look can change, or how your personality can change, how your interests can change in accordance to that. And the other manifestation is literally quite like financial, right? What do you spend on? How you invest money? What do you invest money into? And needing to maybe pay off some bills that you forgot about, and quite like literally handle some kind of like, tangible financial matters. But like the fact that it goes back into the first house very much brings it back to you and your goals, your dreams, your personality, and whether you are investing in yourself enough. This is what I'm picking up from this. On December 3rd, we have a difficult aspect between Venus and Pluto, repeating some of the energy from early October when we had Mars get in a square with Pluto. And this to me suggests some kind of power struggles related to money, power struggles related to friendships, to hopes and dreams, where maybe it's with your partner and you're not agreeing, maybe it's an inner fight where you're not quite being like, or let's say you're being hard on yourself and thinking that you're not in a place you want to be in. There might just be like an overall sense of uncertainty of how can you reach your dreams if you have a lot of debts or a lot of other factors to consider. What's interesting, Venus immediately on December 4th enters Scorpio and will stay in Scorpio until December 29th, calling you to become more introspective. It's calling you to address your blind spot, and that may involve addressing your bad habits. Venus in the 12th sometimes struggles with believing in herself or seeing herself as beautiful and charming and worthy. So an invitation is due here for you to find ways to love yourself and take care of yourself and reassure yourself. It can also be the time when you are handling some romantic matters that are not great for you. Venus entering your 12th house could be the time when you're you know, dating behind the scenes, and for some people it could be great. Maybe it means you're getting away with your partner, but for others it might be the time when you're like trying to date someone who is not available, right? Or trying to get involved with someone who's toxic for you. So Venus in the 12th house will be a very significant time, I think, of both introspection but also learning and taking action. And sometimes Venus in the 12th could also be, if we're talking about you trying to understand yourself, Venus in the 12th could be beautiful for spiritual pursuits and sort of getting in touch with what you enjoy in life, right? Like, and maybe learning about astrology, learning about esoteric things, learning about tarot. There might be some tension between your workload and your mental health and spiritual pursuits, or desire for rest, desire for escape. Venus in the 12th can also be perfect for, like I said, getting away. Like maybe you're traveling, maybe you're going on vacation or going to like some kind of spiritual retreat. But around December 9th, this could be a little bit complicated because Venus will be opposing Jupiter in your 6th house, suggesting that the workload or the demands of other people are quite high right now. And watch out for trying to do too many things at once, because this energy comes back on December 21st, but in a more explosive, challenging way, because on the 21st, Venus will oppose Uranus in your 6th house, and here you're dealing with some kind of breakdowns and breakthroughs related to work, health, and service to other people, perhaps affecting your mental health or affecting your need for rest. So very much a need to balance things this month and try not to put yourself in a compromised position, not to agree to too many things, and, you know, try to prioritize yourself, which is one of the main messages I'm picking up from this, I think. On December 25th, we have quite lovely energy. Venus in your 12th house trines Neptune in the 4th. And it's Christmas Day, right? You feel at ease, you feel happy, you feel relaxed, maybe enjoying your vacation or enjoying your relationship with family, and just overall a sense of comfort and security. We did talk about the new moon in Sagittarius on December 12th. Major restart in your life. On December 26th, we have a full moon in Cancer, which is your 8th house. And here you're looking at your house of resources and your house of agreements with other people. This could be a chance to pay off a debt. This could be an opportunity to renegotiate your salary, or your, you know, if you're receiving some kind of support from another person or from the government. The full moon here could be a change. It's quite a lovely full moon, so I don't see it as a negative. But yeah, like some kind of transformation when it comes to what other people give you and what you give them, to offer more stability, more security, and more balance. Maybe paying off a debt or getting some kind of support. On December 29th, Venus enters Sagittarius. Hooray! She will stay here until January 23rd. And this is amazing because this is the goddess of beauty in your 1st house. You're more charming, you're more attractive, you're more appealing, you're better at getting along with people, you're better at presenting your ideas. Great period to change your look, update your wardrobe, cut your hair. I would schedule all of those things for that. And on December 30th, Jupiter, your chart ruler, stations direct in Taurus, your 6th house, which can offer a bit more ease, a bit more forward momentum and clarity in the sector of work, health, and service to others, making your heavy workload feel less heavy. And if you'd like to know what 2024 has in store for you, get a year ahead reading with me. You can now save $20 for the in-person one, and save $40 if you go with the recorded option in the shop section of my website. The links are down there. And have a great December, Sag Risings. If you are a Capricorn rising, November brought a lot of focus to your house of career, to your sector of networks, friendships, and connections, and perhaps a desire to find some kind of freedom in terms of what you do for a living or how you express your creativity, with Uranus being in your 5th house. And your house of mental health, imagination, your house of escape. In December, that focus continues. Maybe you are exploring spiritual topics. Sorry for the construction sounds. I do not control them, unfortunately. Otherwise, I would do zoop and stop them. So December still brings a lot of focus to your house of mental health as you're resting, getting away, kind of tapping into your imagination, maybe exploring your hidden passions and talents. We get a new moon here on December 12th, which is a new start of health and healing. So the new moon in the 12th house could offer opportunities to take better care of your mental health through starting regular meditation practice, through starting to do yoga. It can also be an opportunity to become a healer or to tap into your imagination. On December 1st, Mercury enters Capricorn. And for a while, Mercury was in Sagittarius, and you would have been more private on some level. You would have potentially considered a lot of things, but not expressed them openly. Mercury going in the first house on December 1st is the time when you start to be more open at sharing your ideas, open when it comes to talking about yourself, and open when it comes to taking personal projects. Of course, it's not just all smooth sailing, right? On December 13th, Mercury goes retrograde. And some of your projects, some of your ideas will need to be rethought, as well as your understanding of yourself will need to be reconsidered, right? Like Mercury going retrograde on the 13th and then moving backwards into your 12th house is very much connecting you and your sense of self with the house of spirituality. And I think you are questioning how you stand in your own way. You're questioning how you take care of your mental health. What are you tossing in your dark closet and not shining any light on, right? Like 12th house is a place of like mental clutter sometimes, or mental garbage. It's like darkest closet where you shove things and you don't look at them. So the retrograde from the 1st and the 12th is an invitation, from the 1st, that's what I said. From the 1st and the 12th is an invitation to take care of your mental health better. And it could also be an invitation to bring some of your latent, hidden passions and interests into the world, right? With maybe you are a secret travel blogger and you never share your name, and now you're getting ready to kind of post the first picture of yourself. Or maybe you are a Reiki practitioner and you are getting ready to be full-time with it. So either, like I said, either a difficult bad habit that you need to look at, or a more constructive sort of happy passion that you're not acknowledging. And there are some positive dates for making moves and making announcements, and that is December 2nd, 7th, 18th, and 21st, when Mercury makes harmonious aspects to Saturn and Jupiter. So the retrograde lasts from December 13th until January 1st, and it could be a bit slower, right? Some of your projects may stall, things could be more quiet, and perhaps I would recommend that you use this time to explore your interests, to journal, to look at your chart, book a reading with me, and maybe try to understand yourself by using some of the spiritual practices. On December 3rd, Venus in your 10th house will square Pluto in the 1st, potentially bringing some power struggles and tensions around work, maybe highlighting your resistance, your fears, your pain that you haven't processed. Take a look back at early October when Mars squared Pluto, because some of that energy might be coming back around, needing one final shake up. You gotta shake the old cobwebs, but like be kind with yourself, be patient around that time. Venus and a square to Pluto can also offer possible solutions and a change of perspective for like healing, transformation. On December 4th, Venus enters Scorpio, your 11th house. She will spend most of December here until December 29th. She'll be in Scorpio. And this is positive for your social life. This is positive for seeing friends, for getting opportunities through friends, for sharing yourself on social media or speaking in front of people. Watch out for the shadow side of Scorpio, and that is maybe overthinking, obsessing, stressing about friends. Instead, try to have an honest conversation with them. Maybe it will resolve the problem quite fast. There might be some tension between your friendships and your personal joy as you try to navigate the needs of everyone around December 9th as Venus opposes Jupiter. And then on the 21st of the month, the breakthroughs and breakdowns connected to love, creativity, children can cause some kind of rift in your social dynamics. So, for example, with Uranus in the 5th, you find out that you're pregnant and now you cannot go skydiving with your friends or some kind of, with Uranus in the 5th, you decide to go solo with your creative project and you separate from the group that you worked with before. And so there might be a little bit of shaky energy around December 21st. But I do really like that December 25th, Christmas Day, has a soft and beautiful energy of Venus and a trine to Neptune. And that is, inspiration, supportive communication, ease, joy in friendships, sort of peace and making amends is more likely here. Gotta mention that Neptune also goes direct on December 6th in your 3rd house, and this could help you separate what's real versus what's just an illusion when it comes to writing, when it comes to siblings, neighbors, community. And if you've dealt with sort of a lack of inspiration or felt stuck and just sort of dealing with heavy things when it comes to writing or self-expression, Neptune going direct can offer an easier access to your imagination and to your creative writing talents. On December 26th, we have a beautiful full moon in your house of relationships. It has a number of supportive aspects and suggests a change, a culmination, and growth in your house of business partnerships, in your house of marriage. So that could be the time you move the relationship to the next level, make a relationship official, make a business relationship official, or maybe join forces with someone you've been sending your contact information to for a while, and now you finally hear from them and make it, move the connection to the next level. On December 29th, Venus enters Sagittarius, and until January 23rd, your love life is more private. You are dating someone and maybe are still experiencing a passionate relationship, but behind the closed doors. You may enjoy traveling more. You're likely to be drawn to people who are foreign, maybe being in touch with foreign people. Always, warning with Venus in the 12th house, be careful of self-defeating tendencies where you go for people who are toxic or otherwise engaged and not good for you. And be also mindful of being really hard on yourself and getting caught in negative self-talk. And on December 30th, Jupiter stations direct in your 5th house, allowing for more, once again, inspiration, but also more forward momentum, more clarity when it comes to dating, when it comes to babies, actual or creative babies, and your art, your joy, your pleasure, and your fun. And if you'd like to know what the year ahead, 2024, has in store for you, book a year ahead reading with me at the link in my bio, at the link below. And you can currently get $20 off from the live conversation, and you can get $40 off from the recorded year ahead reading, which can be found in the shop section of my website. For lovely Aquarius risings, November brought a lot of focus to your house of travel and the mind and expansion as you asked what's next for you. The house of career and public life, and perhaps a need for freedom and change in terms of your living situation, as well as your sector of connections and friendships. And connections, friendships, also new dreams and your you redefining your role in the collective, all of that continues to be important throughout December as the Sun and Mars travel through Sagittarius. You may be networking more, you may be sending more emails, maybe hearing more stories, and connecting with more people. We actually get a new moon in your 11th house on December 12th, just the day before Mercury goes retrograde. And the new moon in the 11th house is new beginnings when it comes to who you work with. There might be group projects. There might be some kind of project that you're planning to present in front of a lot of people. Maybe it's on social media. Maybe there's new ideas you're exploring. So the connection to Mercury retrograde is, of course, significant because on December 1st, Mercury enters Capricorn, your 12th house. And Mercury in the 12th is a lot more private, and it brings your attention to your mental health, to your self-defeating tendencies, to your bad habits, and it's asking you to examine those as Mercury stations retrograde on December 13th. And then as Mercury goes into Sagittarius on December 23rd, and we get that new moon on the 12th, you're connecting the house of mental health and the house of spirituality with the house of friendships and networks, right? And I wonder on some level if you are rethinking how you are sabotaging yourself in terms of connections, right? Are you being too shy to reach out to the uncle you have who knows everyone in the entertainment industry? Or are you being too, are you kind of blocking yourself? Another invitation here could be getting in touch with your interests, right? Because the Mercury retrograde in the 12th house could suggest that you have this spiritual bent to you. And Mercury is retrograde from December 13th until January 1st, so for quite some time. But it could suggest that there is like a hobby, an interest, a passion, another side to you that the world doesn't know. And with retrograde moving from the 12th into the 11th, you can be kind of becoming more clear on what you want to share with the world, and also becoming more clear as in if there are friends who are not supporting that secret side of you, maybe they don't need to be your friends, right? Maybe it's time for you to retool your connections, rethink your connections. And that's what the new moon on the 12th, I think, could be an invitation or a seed off where you're looking at your connections and you're asking like, well, are these relationships authentic? Are they truthful? Are they supportive? Are they healing? So that is a big portion of this month. On December 3rd, you may run into some kind of ideological debates or conflicts related to education, travel, writing, legal matters as Venus squares Pluto. It may also bring back the return of some struggles you faced in early October when Mars squared Pluto, but offer a chance to solve them or a chance to do things differently because Venus tends to be more harmonious to begin with. And then on December 4th, Venus enters Scorpio, and this is Venus in your house of career. And until December 29th, you will get the goddess of beauty to help you express your ideas, to help you present yourself with more charm. It will be easier to get along with colleagues, to get the support of bosses. Be careful, however, of trying to do too much and trying to be successful at work and maybe put out some fires in the home or on your construction site around December 9th and 21st. On the 9th, Venus will oppose Jupiter. On the 21st, it will oppose Uranus. So there might be some tensions, some surprises in the home that require your attention. So you may be taken out of this very accomplished, successful work mindset and have to go to your home and, mop up the floors after the pipe bursts. So try to keep like a good balance and do not overextend yourself. I like that Christmas Day has some harmonious Venusian aspects. Venus in your 10th house will trine Neptune in the 2nd, and I think you may get rewarded. You may get recognized professionally. There might be some gifts that are supportive and encouraging of you. Speaking of Neptune and the house of money and values, Neptune stations direct on December 6th. Allowing you to be more clear, I think, about which dreams are realistic, which dreams are possible and can be accomplished versus what is just a pipe dream or what is just an illusion, right? Neptune going direct can definitely bring more clarity in terms of what's worth investing your time and what is not worth investing your time. On December 26th, we have a full moon in Cancer, which is your 6th house, and that brings attention. It's a very lovely full moon, very happy full moon, has a harmonious sextile to Jupiter and a trine to Saturn. So suggesting that you are closing maybe some kind of hard project you've been working on, you may be completing it at this time. There might be a health crisis that you've been facing that you're now on the other side of, and an overall sense of maybe just like finding closer connections at work and feeling a sense of belonging, feeling a sense of familiarity and a sense of accomplishment from doing work that helps other people. On December 29th, Venus enters Sagittarius, your 11th house, and until January 23rd, you will be busier socially, you will get potentially more invites, you will get to see more friends. It's a great time to go on social media, to present your ideas, to share content you have created, and to maybe even speak in front of people, like speak in front of an audience. And dating a friend could be a possibility here, or partnering up with a friend, but definitely like Venus is romantic energy and 11th house is friendship, so you're connecting the two. Maybe you're working with friends on some kind of beauty, creative, artistic type of project. And then on December 30th, Jupiter stations direct in Taurus, your 4th house, and if there has been any slowing down of the real estate matters, if there have been any delays when it comes to your construction project or acquiring of real estate, or in any even some kind of like family tensions and delays, this could be the opportunity to resolve it and maybe even experience more abundance in terms of your home, family, and living situation. And if you'd like to know what 2024 has in store for you, visit my website, Anastasia Does Astrology, and book your year ahead consultation. You can now save $20, or you can purchase a recorded reading and save $40 in the shop category of my website. So definitely check that out. The link is down there. If you are a Pisces rising, November brought a lot of focus to your house of money as you paid off debts, renegotiated contracts, figured out how to have a better strategy, maybe dealt with inheritance matters, your house of education, travel, and writing, Sun, Mars opposed Uranus, which could have also highlighted a need to free yourself from the old patterns of thinking. Maybe there was a need for revolution in terms of how you handle your everyday life, how you handle education, and how you communicate with other people, as well as later in November, a lot of focus went to your professional life, right? As the planets entered Sagittarius, Sun and Mars entered Sagittarius and squared Saturn in your 1st house, which could have highlighted personal resistance of some sorts and made you question how are you holding yourself back, or what do you want, right? Like a lot of, with Saturn in the 1st house, you're definitely asking a lot of important grown-up questions of like, who do you want to be or where do you want to go? In December, you're still very much professionally oriented as the Sun and Mars travel through your 10th house. We get a new moon in your house of career on December 12th, which is suggestive of new beginnings, new opportunities, right? A new job, a new project, a business, a new title are some of the possibilities here. What's interesting is the new moon on the 12th happens a day before Mercury goes retrograde. So on December 1st, Mercury enters Capricorn, which is your 11th house. And Mercury in the 11th will kind of raise the volume of your conversations with friends. It can bring more opportunities. Maybe you will hear more secrets. Maybe you will be focused on building your network and kind of reaching out to people. And then on the 13th, Mercury goes retrograde and it moves from your 11th house into your 10th, which is both suggestive of needing to rethink your career, but also rethink your connections, right? So as you are on the precipice of new beginnings professionally with the new moon in your 10th house and the retrograde going from your 11th and the 10th, I think you're called to ask who's in your corner and which connections can be supportive to help you move forward, right? Like which connections are outdated and who might be holding you back or who's not asking you the right questions. As well as with Mercury retrograde on December 13th until January 1st and your 11th and the 10th, it's also important to ask what you're dreaming about and who do you see yourself as, right? Like what's the future version of you doing, right? And how are you spending time professionally right now that is maybe not supporting that? So expect to feel a little bit kind of confused and maybe stuck and uncertain about which path to choose. This will start to get better as Mercury goes direct on the 1st, but very important right now, I think, is to surround yourself with people that are helpful and supportive and caring and kind, and people who are not gonna steer you the wrong way. And also maybe reconnect, because Mercury is going backwards, reconnect with the child within or with your past passions and look back at what you have always liked to do and how can that bring some answers into your life as you're trying to figure out which direction to take. I have one Pisces rising client who she comments on YouTube videos sometimes, and she's been trying to move to Paris, right? So perhaps there is an invitation here to take a look at who can help you move to Paris, right? And also ask, like, why are you trying to accomplish it? Or like, what's the driving force behind there? Maybe it's not about moving to Paris, maybe it's about living in Europe, right? Or maybe it's not about moving to Paris but having more freedom. Or maybe it is about moving to Paris and it doesn't even matter what you do, so then just go for it, right? Please let me know how this is resonating for you guys, because I know not everybody is trying to move to Paris. Although, maybe we should all move to Paris. It's probably not realistic. On December 3rd, we have Venus in the 8th house squaring Pluto in the 11th. That could bring power struggles with friends, tensions around finances, resources, maybe difference of values when it comes to seeing the future. Possibly offers solutions too. This repeats the energy we faced in early October when Mars squared Pluto, when Venus has the more gentle diplomatic touch to it, which can offer opportunities to move through difficult topics with more tact and compromise and ability to compromise. On December 4th, Venus enters Scorpio, your 9th house, and until December 29th, you will find a lot more joy in digging deep into the topics of law, into topics of education, topics of travel. Will bring you a lot more joy. You will enjoy sort of doing research on those matters. Watch out for being too kind of stuck with your opinions and maybe a little bit too stubborn or dogmatic with this placement, and be careful of ideological debates, trying to prove your opinion to someone on December 9th as Venus opposes Jupiter. and December 21st as Venus opposes Uranus. December 21st can actually bring some kind of opportunity to break away from the old, to make changes in your everyday life, and also even potentially to rethink your attitudes in life and rethink your mindset and how you communicate and how you think about yourself, how you think about your place in the world. It could be like very eye-opening and also transformative to your everyday life. I like December 25th quite a lot. We have Venus trining Neptune between the 9th and the 1st, and you may be getting away, or you're maybe having a moment of like learning something new and just having a good time connecting to foreign people, getting along with others, and just, yeah, like having a good time. Speaking of Neptune, December 6th, Neptune stations direct in Pisces, your first house. We already had Saturn go direct, and now Neptune is stationing direct. And this could be a chance of this, like Neptune rules dreams and illusions. And when it's retrograde, you're doing a lot of inner battling it out and maybe not necessarily taking action on your dreams. And when Neptune goes direct, it becomes a little bit easier to, first of all, find clarity about what you're trying to accomplish and then take action, as well as potentially take better care of your health and present yourself in a more clear fashion. On December 26th, we have a full moon in Cancer, your 5th house. This brings a change to the house of love, creativity, and children. Could represent giving birth to a child, maybe creative child, right? Completing a creative project, and potentially a transformation of a bad habit or a change to your love life. Take a look back at what was happening in those areas in July when we had a new moon in Cancer, and that will give you some clues on what's to come right now. On December 29th, Venus enters Sagittarius, your 10th house, until January 23rd. You have the goddess of beauty helping you express yourself with more charm at work, get support of people you work for, and just overall have more fun and feel happier doing work, or feel more clear about the type of work that will make you happy. And on December 30th, Jupiter stations direct. Jupiter rules you, so Jupiter going direct in Taurus, your 3rd house, is lovely. It could bring much needed clarity about your schedule, about your business, about education. Could bring more opportunities to travel, especially shorter trips, more opportunities to write and to communicate about the things that you feel passionate about, and just an overall sense of like forward momentum finally now that your chart ruler is direct. And if you'd like to know what's ahead for you in 2024, visit my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com, and take an advantage of a discounted price of the year ahead readings. You can also save even more by purchasing a recorded reading in the shop section of my website. There are links down there. And hooray, we made it through all 12 signs, and here are the main transits. If you'd like to know more, you can always become a subscriber on my website to get monthly horoscopes emailed to you. But this is the gist, the most important ones. I hope you enjoy and have a glorious last month of the year. It is an easier one, it is a happier one, so hopefully it brings us all a lot of gifts and benefits. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.